Good morning, Graciela.
Good morning, Julieta. It is a warm cacao day. How are you?
I am fantastic. As you can see by my background, I am in my healing space this morning rather than in my home. And so, yes, my lighting is way off. We'll have to do something about that in the future. But for today, you will just have to tolerate the lighting that you have.
You will just get to be just as magical as your space. That's all.
Yes, I feel like I'm turning purple here, which I don't think is a bad thing.
It could be just the thing to have folks tune in and say, "What does Julieta look like today?" Let me hop on.
She's purple. Anyway,
Beautiful.
and
How
it's
was your
compensating for my hair is losing its purpleness. There's like blueness and a lot of silver. So Estuardo, if you're listening, I'm coming your way soon.
I'm impressed at your stamina, the fact that you continue to do purple after all these years. Like it's gorgeous, and I don't know how you can still sit in the chair. He must be very entertaining because I'm to the point that I don't even like sitting for a nail appointment. If I could unscrew my hands at the wrists and just drop them off for an hour and come back later, I would.
I hear you, but um at Facebook the other day told me that Estuardo and I were friends for 11 years. I've known him longer than that. That's just when we finally, did the whole Facebook thing. But he's especially like coming from, my mother was a hairdresser, my grandmother was a hairdresser. As a child, that was like my plan. I was going to become a hairdresser by the two most fantastic, because that's what my mom and my grandma did, and they were amazing. So I had to be amazing like them. But when I got to be old enough to understand, my mom is like, "You are not becoming a hairdresser," and I was like, "Okay, fine." Uh, but what I will say is, like, for me, as someone who, my entire life, only women who knew and loved me, and one of them who birthed me had done my hair. Nobody else had ever done my hair. Finding somebody new to do my hair is an extremely like important space in my life. And so when Estuardo and I met, we were like soulmates. And like, even though he's Latino, he can still understand the super straight, fine gringa hair and make it look like not something horrible. So I told him he's not allowed to retire until I die,
There you
and
go.
everything is good.
There you go. I have to tell you, I have not dared out into a salon yet since I moved here. As you can see, my hair is getting so long it doesn't fit in the frame anymore. Um, but yeah, it's your hairdresser is like a very special connection. And for sure, my hairdresser, shout out Katya. She was also like my therapist, I mean, I probably owe her way more money than I ever paid. Because you do spend a lot of time there and you do spend a lot of time, just relaxing or whatnot. So anyway, kudos to
Yeah.
hairdressers this morning for keeping the world alive.
No, I have always said, even as I sit here in my healer position, I understand the majority of people doing hair are also healers. And
Absolutely.
it's something that I don't think they get enough recognition for.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We're making today National Hairdressers Day
Well,
and
funny you
sending you
should say
all the love.
funny you should say healing because Katya was actually trained and started doing I want to say she called them energetic cuts, and it had to do with cutting the hair in a way that was melting together frequency, vibration, healing, things like that. I never got a chance to have one of those myself, but from what I hear, it's really, really satisfying. So,
Wow.
you
When you
know,
come
yeah,
down one of these times, you'll have to book that.
I do. How was your weekend? Tell me, what would you do?
So, for those that don't know, I have a real traditional sweat lodge in my backyard run by Chief Francisco. And it's been in my backyard probably since about May. And Chief pretty much from the get-go was like, I want you to learn how to run Sweat Lodge. And in the beginning, I was like, he's being silly. And then after a while, like, I realized, like, yes, this is all happening for this reason. And so, yes, Vanessa, I need to see you there again. It's been a while. Vanessa came and brought her mom. It was an amazing, beautiful experience. But so anyway, so as of the previous Sweat Lodge, I have begun my official training in the art and ritual of leading this, it's a really profound healing, cleansing ceremony. And so there are what are called doors, 4 doors, and each door has its purpose and meaning. And so both times he's asked me to pour water during the second door. And the second door, well, it can be like if someone specifically, you can request a Sweat Lodge ceremony for yourself. So the purpose would be for prayers to be concentrated for you if you have something going on in your life. But so far to date, all of the Sweat Lodges that we have had are just general Sweat Lodges. So they're not for a specific person. So during the second door of the Sweat Lodges, we pray for others. And, in their tradition, you pray for others before you pray for yourself. And so, as I'm the one pouring water for that particular door, I'm holding space for everybody's prayers. And as I pour the water on the rocks, it's, sending the prayers to creators so that they will be answered. And so in addition to that, then I also do like a community prayer, a prayer for whatever I feel called to pray for. Given that this was the first sweat post-election, I did a lot of prayers related to all aspects of that. And additionally, during these ceremonies, songs are sung. And, I said to a couple of the people who regularly participate in Sweat Lodges and know the songs, I'm like, I'm never going to learn the songs just sitting in here, once a month. And especially because some of the songs are in Spanish and some of them sometimes are in English, but the majority of the songs are in traditional indigenous languages. And so like, they're just sounds to me. They're not even, like when you have a word and it has meaning, it gives it a little bit more ease in learning it. But when you're just learning sounds that are put together, like, it's really difficult. So my friend Brandon, he's like, it would be really appropriate for you to learn a water song. And so he sent me two different water songs, and one of them I felt called to learn that one first. And so I've been spending the last month learning the song, which it was interesting, like that whole process. And like, I think that I had it, and then I would try, hours later to sing it, and like I didn't have it. But finally I got it where I was like, yeah. And like every day I just sing it a couple times just to like really have it. And so then it's time for ceremony, and I'm like, okay, I'm singing a song. But I could just feel like all of this energy like building up, and I'm sitting in the sweat, and it's like, okay, it's time for me to sing the song. And I'm trying to sing, but I'm crying. I'm like, I can barely talk when I'm crying, let alone sing a song. And here the words are coming out like all crackly and off tune. And I'm just like dying. And I'm like, and it's a very short song. You repeat the verse over and over again. Some say you do it 4 times, 1 for each direction. Some say 7 times because you do the 4 directions. You do the up, the down, and the in. And I don't even know how many times I sang it, but I think I sang it like 3 times, like horribly. Just like, and I was like in my head, I was like, come on, there are people in this Sweat Lodge that know this song. Can't they just like rescue me and sing with me? And none of them did. And then finally, I don't remember if it was like the 3rd or the 4th time, I finally like pulled my shit together. I got my voice and I sang that song. And then the next round, of course, then they joined me. And there was the piece of it, like, I was like, where were you before? But then it was also like just grateful that they all sat patiently and held space for me to find my voice. And so it was really powerful. It was really moving. And just all of that was like a stretch enough for me, outside of my comfort zone enough. But there were also two very respected elders from the community that were there at that sweat lodge for the very first time.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I'm like, oh, just put a little tiny extra layer.
Well, and as a self-identified, recovering, all my words are stuck together, recovering perfectionist, I'm sure that hit you right in the feels. Like, I'm sure that triggered you to no end, huh?
And then, like, even so, when it was all done and Chief was speaking, I can't tell you how many times he said it was perfect.
Oh,
yeah. And so it was like, somewhere he knew that was one of my things. That he said those exact words. It was perfect.
yeah.
And
that's the process, right? Like the perfection of the imperfection, you know. For me, every time I, trip up on something, I'm like, I hate that I did that, or I hate that I said that, or, recently I've been thinking back to some of the projects that I have done over the years, and I'm like, oh, I can't believe I did that. Why did I do that? But they all got me to where I am today. So the tripping up and the, finding your strength and digging deep and all of that, it's absolutely part of it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I will also say too, like, water has been such a theme, especially since I was told you need to learn a water song. And everything about water is just coming at me right now. Like, it's so interesting. Like, yes, this is perfect. I'm deepening my, it's like the elements they're a part of so many traditions, not just the native indigenous traditions, but like, probably most of my connection is through like the Chinese medicine world. The elements are a very big part of that. But all my other spiritual studies over the years. And so, funny thing, this morning, as I was just doing a brief little scroll through the world of Instagram, this video pops up about Bali, and that the original religion, apparently now I think their official religion there is Hinduism, but before that, like, the native people of Bali, their religion was water. Like, that was their whole worship, and everything was centered around water.
Yeah.
So if that's
it makes total sense. I mean, they're called archetypes for a reason, it's no matter what language you speak or how old you are, water is always cleansing, water is always purifying. I think in high school they told us water is the universal solvent, I'm still gotta remembered something from chemistry. But yeah, I mean, and the sun is healing and the earth is grounding. I mean, those are just like, I think they're basic truths for this experience that we're having. I know for me, and I know I've talked about it a bunch, but being out here amongst the trees is just completely different. I was texting a friend of mine the other day with some challenges that I'm having, and they were like, well, at least you have the trees, go outside. It's absolutely true. That is absolutely my therapy. My kids were, Abigail said something the other day. She was like, so like, if you're mad at us, we should take you for a walk. And I'm like, that would actually be very clever. Yes. So
smart girl.
the power of nature cannot be understated. Which is why I'm so looking forward to our retreat, our 4 elements retreat. I mean,
That's what I was trying to lead into. And our conversation was going so many, but it's like I felt like I already had so much to share about the elements when we decided to do this. And now I'm like, because we've made this decision to do this, the universe is just throwing even more lessons my way about the elements. So by the time June gets here, we're probably going to be upset that the retreat is only 4 days instead.
that's what I was thinking, 3 nights, 4 days off in the mountains, waterfall, fires, like we're going to hit all the elements and then some. And yeah, we're going to have to like really cram it in there. We're going to have to talk all through the meals. Like, I'm so excited to hear all the things that you've been learning and how we're applying it to our lives. I mean, let's see, today's question, how do you manifest your dreams and desires? Honestly, so much of what I do is based with the elements, is based with, it's also interconnected.
It absolutely is. And like even like trying to like talk about this during the podcast, like there's not one tool. There are just so many tools that we use. And for example, like if you're trying to manifest something and you just seem stuck, like connect with water and flow and like watch it happen. Or like there might be stagnation. Like what needs to be, like where do we need to bring in the fire to clear things out, to bring in the new growth? And it's endless.
Well, one of the things I enjoy about the partnership we have going is like how open and transparent we are about how we do these things. So many times, I'm watching stuff on Facebook and it's like, here's this amazing thing that I accomplished. And, I'm not going to tell you how I did it. I'm like, oh man, come on. Like, what's your secret? Tell me, So I love that we've put together basically a curriculum, that we get to share in our retreats and things like that. And, I'm hoping we can put together like a little webinar, because I do, and I think we share plenty on this podcast, but I would love to do like a dedicated webinar. And you guys that are watching, please let us know what you think, because like none of what we're doing is a secret, but it is absolutely working. It is absolutely creating the lives that we want. And so I want to share that in a little bit more detail, other than, our little bits and pieces over all the podcasts put together. But to me, the real magic is doing it in a retreat. And I think I just wrote a blog about it. That one I think is published. It is on the website. You can kind of dive in.
Going up like it will go live at 11:11 today.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, because to me, the power is in number one, getting together in community, just gathering, gathering with people that feel the way you feel, like-minded people. I know that phrase gets said a lot, like-minded people, but it's true. Then having the time set aside to focus and concentrate on what you're doing. So many of the little tips that I pick up on, TikTok or talking to people or whatever it is, I don't have time to add that to my life. I always joked, like, if I were to do everything that I'm supposed to do, I'd be drinking 700 ounces of water a day and running to every appointment to keep up my cardio and exfoliating and writing my gratitude journal all at the same time. Like, I can't do it all. But dedicating the time and setting aside that chunk of days to only do this, man, that is just like the skyrocket. That is just, the fast track to getting what you want. I always say a good retreat is like a year of therapy. I can work through so much when I just, and yeah, there are challenges. I have to find other people to manage the other things that I do in my life. And thank goodness I'm able to, put it out there. But half of that is just asking. I think we all love to see each other grow. And whose kid wouldn't I watch to know that, hey, you're doing something really good for yourself, right? Who couldn't I cover at work, to know that you're doing something really healthy for yourself. And I think we hesitate a lot in asking other people for help, but it's what we all want. We want to be asked for help, right? Like, I want someone to need me, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've been reaching out to people. So we have a 1-day retreat coming up on December 7th. And yeah, it's a full 1 day. We start at 7:30 in the morning and we'll end I think at 6:30 in the evening. It's a lot. And I see so many women that, like, yes, your life is great, but I see like this potential that is just there if you just gave yourself like the permission to level up. And but they have all these excuses, all these things that they have to do. And like, yeah, it's great that you have a lot going on in your life, but I also know that if you gave yourself a 1-day retreat, like not even a 4-day retreat, a 1-day retreat, it is going to change everything for you and take you to the next level of the game where you accomplish more by doing less, and you are there for the other people more than you can be now in your present state.
Absolutely.
And
It's that effortless action that we keep talking about. For me, some of my highest values are like ease and flow. I want to do all the same things I'm doing, and I want to do it with half the effort I'm doing it in. And as a matter of fact, I just realized I just had my, a week ago, maybe my 12-year anniversary for my photography business.
happy
And
anniversary.
thank you. And some of those years have been like, really hard. And with the right mentor, I've been able to create so much more ease and flow. I shouldn't say one mentor, several mentors. One in specific is she's the one that kind of catapults me in the photography world. But, I wouldn't be receptive to her mentoring had I not done the inner work that I need to say, yes, I'm ready for ease and flow. I understand that I don't need to suffer to get what I want in this life, and when I say what I want, I don't mean a new boat or whatever. I mean, what I want is passion and peace and relaxation and excitement all at the same time. And how do you create and manage all of that? And so, like you started off saying, it's a lot of different things woven together, and I will tell you, sometimes, I myself, I'll call myself that. I'll say, oh, I don't have time for that. And then I'll say to myself, oh, I'm just going to watch one episode of this Netflix show. And then it's funny. And then before you know it, I've watched like an epic, 7 hours and my day is done. And I'm like, oh man, had I spent those 7 hours in retreat, how much further along would I be? So
I will just want to make one recommendation though. Instead of watching Netflix, watch Gaia.
it requires a different part of my brain to watch Gaia. Like sometimes I just need like a mindless checkout, type of thing. I need to just lose myself in something. With Gaia, I feel like I have to really focus and concentrate because they're each like cool lectures that I really want to make sure I don't miss anything out on. So yeah, time and place, I guess. But there's always room for a retreat, man. I love retreats. I really do. Each one, whether it's a 1 day, a half day, a workshop. We had our vision board workshop the other day. That was super cool. I've been getting messages from our attendees going, look at my board and look what I'm doing. And I just think it's so exciting and it's working, it's working. People are seeing evidence of their success, and how cool is that? I don't know. I'm having a good day today. I'm excited about all that.
Well, also today, Pluto is moving into Aquarius, which is like a really big deal for our astrology minded people. But it's after like there's been a lot of heaviness, and I do feel like when I woke up this morning, like the energy had shifted somehow. And I don't know if it's that astrological shift, or was it I had finally recovered from the super intense energy of the sweat lodge this weekend. I don't know, but it does feel like a really good day today.
I love it.
Oh.
I love it.
Anything else you want to add about? I feel like we didn't talk about one of our favorite tools that we tend to mention a lot is 369. And so I would say my history crush is Nikolai Tesla, and so although I'm pretty sure he wasn't really interested in relationship, but you know, not that we're going to go into the full details of it, but mathematically, and I'm like so not mathematically aligned, but I understand like frequency. And so there's something very special about the numbers 369 and using that as a powerful tool. Like anytime I feel stuck, I'm like, where's my 369 journal? And I start, and like sometimes it's even just one day of 369ing, like whatever the issue that I was having, like completely shifts, and the doors open, and the seas part, and like everything comes together.
It's absolutely.
And, so it's so simple. Anyone can do it. And you can make it as complicated or as simple as you want to. Either way, it's powerful just because the numbers are powerful. And if you're a mathematician and you need, well, probably if you're a mathematician, you already understand the uniqueness of 369. I am not that, I cannot go in and explain that to you, but if you want resources, we can share them with you.
I was gonna say, not in one little morning podcast.
Absolutely.
I will share one more cute little thing so that you all can set your good intentions with us. So my son recently, it was actually kind of cute because, you know, like kids never listen to you, but they watch you, right? And they do what you do, and they never do what you say. So my son did a driving test thing the other day, and he was like, which stone can I take with me today? You know, so he took a crystal and he put it in his pocket, you know. And then this morning, well, he's been training with the basketball team for a couple of weeks now, and tonight is the official tryouts, you know, and this is a really big deal for him. So this morning he was like, Mom, when you do all your thing that you do today, you know, can you just add a little prayer for me, you know? And I'm like, sure thing, buddy. So, you know, cacao sage time, 369 time is going to include my son. So send all of your good energy that my little precious baby boy makes it onto the basketball team. I know he's a big man. He's like almost 6 foot tall, and he looks like a Sasquatch, but it's just my little baby. It's just a little baby, just a baby. So anyway.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I managed to avoid the soccer mom life, and if he gets on this team, I'm gonna turn into our friend Jamie. Jamie, reach out, give me tips. How do you survive? What do I do? I'm gonna be driving all around the state of North Carolina, going to games. So anyway, that help I would appreciate.
I'm sure she will have plenty of advice for you. I've seen her advising others that are in the earlier stages as well. So she's got you for sure.
I love it. I love this community. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Reach out. We're so easy to find on all the social medias. We have like 100 websites. You can find us anywhere. Just punch in our names. It's true. And yeah, ask us any questions. No question too silly or too deep or too strange or whatnot. Just dive in. Let's have a talk.
All right. Have a magical day, everyone.